Every curse begins with a story, and sometimes the only way to defeat a monster is to understand the nightmare that gave it wings. The village of Daria Khan was drowning in fear. 2 lives were gone, animals were slaughtered, and the people now believed what they had denied for years. The giant bat was real. The elders called an emergency gathering inside the mosque. Faces pale, voices trembling, they spoke of things they had kept buried for decades. Haji Karim, the oldest among them, finally revealed the truth. This is no ordinary beast. It was born here, in the caves beyond the forest. Long ago, our forefathers made a mistake. They disturbed what should never have been touched. Many years earlier, miners had dug into the mountains, searching for copper and iron, but instead they discovered a cave filled with strange drawings, symbols with creatures with wings, eyes like fire, and mouths dripping with black liquid. The villagers laughed it off, ignoring the warnings scratched into the walls. They dug deeper, and then they found it. An egg. Huge, black, hard as stone. The villagers tried to destroy it, but fire couldn't burn it, and blades couldn't cut it. So, fearing its power, they sealed the cave and prayed never to see it again. But one night, the earth shook. The cave cracked open, and the egg was gone. That, Haji Karim said, was the night the bat was born. The villagers sat in stunned silence. Some wept, others whispered prayers. But one young man, Rashid, stood up with fire in his eyes. If it was born in the cave, then the cave is where we'll end it. The men gathered what weapons they had: torches, sickles, bowls. A group of 7, led by Rashid, set out toward the mountain under the dim light of the half moon. The forest seemed alive that night. Every shadow moved, every branch creaked, and yet the deeper they went, the quieter it became. Finally, they reached it, the mouth of the cave. Cold air poured out, carrying a smell so foul it burned their lungs. The ground was littered with bones, animal and human alike. Inside the cave, the walls were covered in claw marks. Strange black veins pulsed across the stone, glowing faintly like living roots. And then they heard it. Whoosh! Whoosh! The beating of wings, but this time louder, closer. Torches flickered, shadows danced on the walls, and from the darkness, 2 enormous red eyes opened. The giant bat unfolded itself from the ceiling. Its wings scraped the walls as it stretched, its screech rattling the stone. The men froze. Some wanted to run, but Rashid raised his torch and shouted, "We end this tonight!" The bat lunged. Some battles are not about winning. They're about surviving. And when the sky belongs to monsters, the ground may never feel safe again. The villagers had entered the cave seeking answers. Instead, they found death. The giant bat attacked with fury, its claws tearing through the darkness. Rashid swung his torch, striking its wing, but the beast was too strong. 2 men were taken instantly, dragged screaming into the shadows. But the worst horror lay behind them. A hidden chamber filled with eggs, dozens of them, glowing faintly, pulsing as if alive. If they hatched, the world would no longer fear just one bat. It would drown in wings. Rashid shouted to the others, "Burn the eggs! Don't let them hatch!" The men hurled their torches. Flames spread across the chamber. The eggs hissed and cracked, black smoke curling into the air. The bat shrieked in rage, its scream shaking the walls. It lunged at Rashid, knocking him to the ground. Its jaws snapped inches from his face. He stabbed upward with his dagger, the blade sinking into its chest. The beast howled and recoiled, but it wasn't enough. The cave shook. Rocks crumbled. Flames roared higher. The bat's wings created a storm of dust and ash. Only 3 men made it out alive. They stumbled from the collapsing cave as fire consumed it. Behind them, the mountain rumbled like thunder, sealing the monster inside. Or so they thought. As they returned to the village, weak and broken, the people rejoiced. They believed it was over. The curse was gone. That night, they lit candles in every home. They prayed, sang, and for the first time in weeks, children laughed. But Rashid could not rest. He sat outside, staring at the moon, his mind replaying the final moments. Because in the chaos, he had seen something no one else noticed. Not all the eggs were destroyed. The wind shifted. The night grew cold. And then, faintly, in the distance, whoosh, whoosh, the sound of ruin. Rashid's blood turned to ice. He looked up at the dark sky. The stars disappeared, one by one, behind a shadow that stretched wider than before. And this time, there were many red eyes. Not one, not two, dozens. The giant bat had survived, and it was no longer alone.